what we're talking
Ah!
about.
Oh, that's a big fire.
Bernie!
Oh.
I didn't expect it to get that big.
Oh my gosh.
This is Bernie. Hi, Bernie. Hi! I'm so excited that In My Head started because now we can talk about puppets.
We also call
Okay.
Bernie the introduction
By
to
the
therapy.
way, Ben,
Yeah?
true or false? We use this puppet in kids ministry.
We do.
See?
I liked
God's promises.
the
Bernie.
the shirts.
Bye! Have a good show on puppets!
You know, the
I did
idea
not expect
behind
that
it-
fire to be that big. By the way, staple in kids ministry is a professional blowtorch. Hey, Ben,
Yeah. No, jeez. I felt that.
did you feel it?
I did.
Watch
That was
this.
Very warm.
Now I take his hair off. Eyebrows. Ben, look.
Stop it! Oh, jeez.
Okay. Okay, what are we doing here anyway?
That's
We're talking about puppet power, and we've got a good show. We have a meaty show for you guys today.
Oh, yeah.
A meaty show. That means we have 3 different parts to this because some people might say that puppets are not important, but I say otherwise, and puppets can take many forms, as you will see today, and they can create a vast connection point. Is that the right way to say it, Ben?
Yeah, connection point, because it's expanding like who you are. It's elaborating more on who you are in different, like, it's just a new way to communicate, and I feel like there's no way we can communicate in 1,000.
Good job, Ben.
Yeah, words.
Okay, puppets are amazing. I want to tell you something. When I first started kids ministry, I literally said these words: I will never use puppets, because when I was a kid, they were the wedge mouth puppets, which is where this puppet came from. It's a wedge mouth puppet, and this poor guy has been burned so many times, but he's Bernie the puppet, and his story is that no matter how many times you get burned, you got to keep going. You can't just give up because life gets hard. You can't give up because your face has been fried. You got to keep going. Right, Ben?
Right, you gotta keep going.
Right. Ben,
Yeah.
does this puppet scare you?
Well, no. I mean, yeah, okay. Yes, it does, and no. I just thought when we decided to use this puppet, I thought it was gonna be a lot more like. I thought it was like such a cool idea, like it would look kind of marked up, but after a little while, it stopped being cute and it turned into like a nightmare. The idea
I
is
think we're
like
about 10% of the people watching this are going to agree with me that I say this is a great idea. Like, they're going to say, okay, I'll go with you on this, but why? All right? Why? Why? Okay, so the kids actually like Bernie.
the ones that are familiar with him.
Yeah,
Yes.
they love him. He's like, because I have hopes and dreams, and I have suffered greatly. But God's okay, I'm going to stop. Okay, we have a meaty show today, like I said, and I'm really excited to talk about this. We have Frank Pereira, we have Mario the Maker, we have Steve Axtell, and we have my good friend Dale McAnulty, who's currently on the couch. That is the waiting room. He'll be coming up. So I want to show you guys something. Mario the Maker came to our church last night, performed, and it was a milestone. It was a milestone in my kids' ministry to see 500 plus people there, kids screaming, laughing. Mario has a bit that he does with a robot monkey called Marcel, and this robot he does not touch, but it is a puppet. And here's the thing: you can be creeped out by puppets. Some people are like, I don't like puppets, or I think puppets are stupid. They're only stupid if you've seen them perform poorly, or if you've seen them projected poorly. And we're going to talk about the science of the character of puppet today. But puppets are powerful because they're an extension of yourself, and you'll hear from Frank about that in a little bit. But I want to show this segment. This is Marcel the monkey. Now, this is cool because you actually get to see the making of Marcel before you see Marcel performing. And this is all thanks to my good friend Mario the Maker magician, Marcel the Monkey.
Ground. This is a monkey that I'm building. I can't own a real monkey, so my idea was like if I could make a really live looking monkey, it would be really cool. He's made with wood and there's wine cork, carved wine cork for his mouth and stuff. And then all the wire is coat hangers that I just cut up. You know, hey monkey, I'm the best magician in the world, right? You know, and then, you know, he'll say yes, and then when I look away, he'll nod no or something, you know, to the kids.
And my favorite, Marcel the Monkey, a theater piece with a robotic monkey. This is a modern routine that I use to fool puppeteers on Sesame Street. He did it!
You know, if you've never seen Marcel the Monkey, it's emotional. His whole act, like Marcel disobeys, he won't listen, he's going to shut the whole thing down, and then Marcel feels bad, and the kids want him to keep going and keep trying, and then Marcel does it, he puts the ball in the cup, and you can't help but cheer for Marcel, and it's almost as if Mario is like watching this creation that he made, and it's as if he's witnessing it for the first time, and everyone's cheering on this monkey, and it's something that is made out of clothes hanger and cork and rope, it's little servos and programming, and anything can be an extension of you if you put enough creativity into it. And so that's the subject that we're talking about today, puppets. Why are they so important? Well, Frank is a good friend of mine, Frank Pereira, and you know, he was a youth pastor, and I remember we sat at Blackbird Diner and he started talking about some of these creative things he wanted to do, and I said, Frank, no offense, but you sound like a kids pastor. And when he became a kids pastor, he started buying puppets, and boy, did he start buying puppets. And our show today is not sponsored by Steve Axtell, but Steve, if you're watching this, you are the master puppet builder. And if you guys are going to buy a puppet, save your money and just buy a puppet from Steve. You will thank me later. But you'll also know, watching Mario, that anything can become a puppet. I mean, take Bernie the puppet. That puppet was a hand-me-down throwaway puppet, and I got it, and I said, you know what? He's going to be an assistant to one of my other characters called Old Chief, and the kids love him. And though he's scary-looking, he doesn't portray himself to be scary. So I'm getting off track. I want to show you guys a video that we made. Last Christmas, we did a whole series on this character called Chef Wee Wee, and Chef Wee Wee is a chef who's trying to make holiday food, yet he can just never seem to make food. And Frank was a part of this. Enjoy.
Welcome to Cooking with Chef Wee Wee. Today we're gonna be cooking the famous holiday ham. And what is a holiday without a ham? Get someone in the kitchen! Get out of the kitchen!
Christmas jokes with Coach Champ Wilson.
I'm Coach Champ Wilson, and welcome to Christmas Jokes with Coach Champ Wilson. Yeah!
Yeah.
Do you know what happens if you eat too many Christmas decorations? You get tinselitis. Yeah, explode up! Back to you, Chief, Chef.
There's no jokes on my show. This is a family show about cooking. About cooking. What's in my ham? It's a China cooking ham. And there's a monster. No monsters in my kitchen. No monsters in the kitchen.
Christmas jokes with Coach Champ Wilson.
I'm Coach Champ Wilson, and welcome back to a Christmas Jokes with Coach Champ Wilson.
Coach Champ Wilson.
Do you know what happens when Santa Claus gets caught in a chimney? He gets claustrophobic. Gets hot. Explode up! Back to you,
up.
Chef.
No jokes in the kitchen. No monsters in the kitchen. Okay. Today on my show, we're going to be learning about how to cook a partially eaten holiday ham. Yes. No monsters in the kitchen. Get out of the kitchen.
Christmas jokes with Coach Champ Wilson.
Do you know what type of motorcycle that Santa Claus rides on? A Harley Davidson! Yeah! Explode up!
Explode up.
Okay. How to eat a cook and partially eaten. No more touching my kitchen! No more touching my kitchen!
Christmas jokes with Coach Champ Wilson.
How did Ebenezer Scrooge win the football game? Because the ghost of Christmas past! Get touchdown! Goal! Explode up!
Touchdown. Christmas jokes with Coach Champ Wilson.
Where do you find the Christmas tree? Where? Christmas tree, where?
Where?
Between tree 2 and tree 4! Yeah! Let's go! Explode up!
Explode
Yeah!
up. Touchdown.
Explode up! Yeah!
Today we are going to be making the soup with the bone.
We are excited to have the creator of Chef Wee Wee with us today, children's pastor extraordinaire, Frank Pereira. Welcome, Frank.
Hey everyone, it's a pleasure, honor to be on your show, Sean.
Oh, Frank, it's your good friend, you're a great kids pastor. Wait, you're a great friend and a good kids pastor. Wait, how about you're just great at both? Wait, who's that? What in the world is that?
It's my new friend. Say hi.
What is that a turkey or a chicken?
I don't know, whatever your imagination says.
Okay, how did you create this? Like where'd you get this?
All right, so it's kind of part of Chef Louie's chicken or gang of mutant or monsters or mutant foods or whatever. He's going to be kind of like a host to Chef Wee Wee's show, but Chef Wee Wee is actually, as opposed to all the other monsters eating Chef Wee Wee's food, Chef Wee Wee is going to probably try to get him to be the food, instead of all the monsters destroying his food. He's actually Chef Wee Wee's dinner.
Can we see the full body?
Yes.
Okay.
Forgot what the angles are here.
That's hilarious. All right, so with Chef Wee Wee, you created this character, but the thing I noticed about Chef Wee Wee is he's a chef that never gets to cook anything. Like, what? Explain that.
Yeah, he is always having monsters just kind of mess up everything he does. Now, the whole like backstory behind Chef is he's like a top great chef. Like he's a good chef, but he's kind of got involved with the wrong crowd with these monsters that they love Chef's food and they want to eat it. So they're always messing up his ingredients, getting into his food, and just another crazy thing. And this puppet will kind of be like kind of focus on the other side of things, where he's not coming to mess up Chef's food, but Chef is coming to make him his food. So there are going to be times where I take this puppet and I'll put like a little chef apron or something, cover up the cooked part, and Chef Wee Wee is going to be like, the turkey will be like, what happened? Why did I feel like, where am I? And he'll be magically in an oven, and then he looks down and his whole body's being cooked and stuff like that. And Chef Wee Wee is going to be piercing in with his eyes.
That is amazing. So you have backstory written into your puppet characters. Yes,
yeah. Have to.
How many puppets do you own? Because today we're talking about the power of puppets in your kids ministry, and you're actually are you an Axtel Power user yet?
Yes, this is my 10th Axtel puppet. Bought directly from Axtel. I actually have owned a few other puppets that are not that I did not purchase directly from them, so it doesn't qualify me for an Axtell user. But I have about total puppets. I have in the 20s, maybe even in the 30s, with puppets. Axtell puppets. I probably have like 15 or 16 Axtell puppets.
You have more than I do. And
Wow.
that's amazing. Okay, so I want to know what your first puppet was before we go on.
All right, so my first ever puppet, if you guys have watched The Great Outdoors or any of the things, the first ever puppet I actually ran, I had just gotten saved and we were doing a kids VBS, and it's Kodiak the Bear was the first puppet, and it's like a half body puppet where you put the arms in, two people run it, one person runs the mouth, two people run the arms, and or whatever, however you want to do it. One person runs the mouth and the left arm, and the other one runs the right arm. Any which way. That was the first puppet I ever got, and so we ended up buying that puppet when we started. We decided we wanted to do a puppet ministry. We ended up buying that puppet. However, still, that was not the first puppet we owned. The first puppet we own is Rocky the Rooster. We had actually bought him with the church's funds at the time. And when we were leaving that church, we had asked them, hey, we'd like to buy that puppet back from you at what you guys paid for it. And the pastor said, go ahead, it's yours. You don't have to pay anything for it. So it wasn't that high. It wasn't an Axtell puppet. It wasn't like a $400 puppet. But it was still a great, we appreciated that, the heart of that, and we took it with us, and we had plans for it, and they kind of fell apart, and puppets, and we begin to build backstories on them.
So you have a lot of backstory. And I love the design you put into your characters, but I think a lot of people that are in kids ministry would ask, or I think one is they would go, well, I'm not good at puppets, so I'm not gonna use puppets. But why do you use puppets in kids church?
Well, I use puppets because I feel like they can tell a story. They can tell a story, or they can be a part of a story, and they can build on a story. I love being able to like get out of myself too, with puppetry. Like Chef Wee Wee is a part of me, and who Chef Wee Wee is, the craziness, the anger. Like sometimes I feel that way in life, and I feel like that's who like, but it never comes out, and you don't manifest that like you're a grown adult. You're not a toddler, pouting on the floor because these monsters all ate your ham, and you're throwing a fit. You don't get to do that as an adult. But when you put on a puppet, when you put on the puppet in your hand, something transforms. You let those things out, and these kids just when they see it, they're like, you have different people like, I don't like Chef Wee Wee. He never gets to. I have kids. I don't like Chef Wee Wee. He never gets to cook anything. I feel bad for him, and they feel sad for him. And so I'm like, well, that's cool, but that's why they don't like him. I'm like, well, so you don't like? It's not that you don't like Chef Wee Wee. You like Chef Wee Wee. You just feel bad for him.
Yeah.
And then I have other people that are like, yes, eat the puppet. Destroy him. Destroy him.
Yeah. Well, and you brought up three really good points. One is what kids say, I don't like Chef Wee Wee or whatever. There's a kid language. There's a language that kids have that it's not necessarily what they say, it's what they're saying behind their words. So talk about that for a sec, because I think that puppets pull that out of kids.
Yes, and I think people don't. A lot of times, puppets get a bad rap, and I think it's because they get this rap that they're kind of cheesy and corny and for little baby kids, and so then I think adults and some older kids will kind of be like, those are just puppets. It's not real, whatever. So you got to really explain it to people so they can understand it. They can understand who the puppet is, and what you're trying to do with the puppet. Because if they don't understand what you're trying to do with the puppet, then you'll get a lot of those questions that are hard to answer. But when you have these kids are their imagination is going. They connect with the puppet. Like obviously, when I said right there, like those kids connected with the puppet, they were sympathizing with this puppet that's not even real. Here's, by the way, I had Chef Ruby right here. Like he's not real. He's just a doll, you know. But when you put your hand in it and when you put your personality into it, he becomes real. He becomes a real life character, and these kids connect to that because there's something in their lives. There's some point in their lives where somebody did something to them, where they felt like, oh, I feel bad for Chef because that would, you know, I would not want somebody to eat all my cookies or my ham, and you know, and all these monsters are treating him poorly. But there's a whole backstory to it. So this is why I kind of want kids to get the backstory, read the comic that we came up with at Christmas, because they get the backstories. Like the monsters love Chef Wee Wee. That's why they're with him. But Chef Wee Wee is just frustrated at the monsters because he wants to actually cook something. The monsters really just love his food.
Yeah.
So,
You know, it's interesting that you said puppets are a part of you. And that was another one thing you said this earlier. And I think puppets are supposed to represent like a fraction of our personality, but not the whole thing. Like Chef Wee Wee is a part of Frank. Is that correct? Like there's a part of Frank that you are Chef Wee Wee and Chef Wee Wee is you, but Chef Wee Wee is not all of you. And I think that, you know, I think kids relate with that fragmented personality that's actually you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, kids relate with that. And especially if like, so this is where relationship in Christian, in kids ministries, this is where relationship ties into the building on your puppet's character. Because and there's going to be those kids that you don't have a deeper relationship with, but the kids know who you are. So it's going to be easy for, like, I have kids all the time saying, "You're Chef Wee Wee, right?" And I'm like, I don't know. You know, like, you know, and sometimes with the older kids, I'll come and be like, you know, you want to find out who Chef Wee Wee is? You know, they're like, yeah, it's you. And I'm like, maybe, you know, and like, so they know it's you. They understand you. When they do that, it's kind of a compliment for me, because that means that I've been able to develop a relationship with that kid. At least they know me enough that like they can tell that's me, not just because they can tell it's my voice. It's when the kids come up to you, and I kind of get excited about this too, but when the kids come up to me and ask me, "Are you Chef Wee Wee?" I don't know, because it doesn't sound like you, and it kind of sounds like you, and you get this. All the kids are like trying to say, "Oh, they just don't know." But I love it that he's a part of me. But again, like you said, he's not all of me, but every single puppet that I own is a little piece of me.
And I think that's important, Frank, because I think people make the mistake of thinking that their puppet has to be like this separate person, and they're just trying to pretend to be that person. And they say that acting is not acting; it's reality, and it's responding. And I think that using a puppet, from what I'm hearing from you, that when you use Chef Wee Wee or you use Junior or Monster, you know, in your monsters, that you're showing the kids a part of you that can speak something very specific, and you can strip away the other parts of you that are there so that you can communicate something very special that only your puppet can do, because there's too many other facets to you that get in the way. Oh, okay. What? All right. What is this? I recognize him. He is from the Chef Wee Wee holiday cooking series. I love this puppet. Yes, and that's my favorite part right there. How does that work? Let's show everyone how that works.
So there is a string with a little, place for your finger to fit in there. And you pull back on it. Now, I had to be very careful. When I bought this, I pulled really back on it, and I actually broke the string. And I had a lady in our church that does a lot of sewing, and she repaired them for me. It's the same thing with the chicken too. He's got in the back of him right here. He's got the bar where you can lift and raise his head, but he also's got a string where it controls his mouth. So you pull down on a string.
Ah, it's like an old-fashioned ventriloquist doll, a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. I kind of like it a little bit more because I find sometimes my hands when I'm doing. Sorry, I'm trying to find myself in the frame. When I'm doing this, my hand can get tired, or when you have your hand above your head for a long time, it can get tired. That kind of helps alleviate some of that. If you're new to ventriloquism or to puppetry, a puppet like this might be a little easier on your hands. I'd still say if you're really into it, get a regular puppet because you're going to need to strengthen your arm. I feel like with my arm now, I feel a lot more competent in doing some of the puppet techniques. Obviously, we don't talk like this. We talk with our bottom jaw drops. I can't even try to not to do it wrong to show you. I love it when you have the kids for the first time. I had them do puppet shows. It's just amazing, and I'll have them up here, and they're all doing that. They're all flapping, but I love it because they're learning and wanting to learn how to do the puppetry. But and then I'm showing them, all right, so we don't talk like that, people. We don't talk like that. And they're like, no, we don't. And then it's just like, so what we want to do is we want to take your thumb, and when you put your thumb in the puppet's mouth, right there, you drop the thumb and try to keep your forefinger straight. I know it becomes really hard, especially when you have the wedge mouth puppets. It becomes very hard for you to do that because it's very, it's not easy. It's like thick and stuff. But that's why I use Axtell puppets or latex. And so you put your hand in the mouth of an Axtell puppet, and it's so easy to move. It's like butter.
It's like butter. It's like driving a Porsche instead of a Volkswagen.
Absolutely.
One thing I learned, this is not a how-to video, by the way. That's a whole nother video. But one of the things I learned to push the thumb down, because your natural one is to do this. So I can just do this all day long now, but it's to push your hand forward and push your thumb down. And then the puppet looks like, and then if you add a little head tilt like that, it's like, it's like you're going like this, and it looks almost very natural because the eyes are the windows of the soul. And if you lose track of the eyes, the puppet's just an object. But
that's the other thing about Axtell. I mean, I know this isn't like a Axtell promotional website. I know Steve will be happy that we're talking about him, but I mean, the eyes of these puppets are so wonderful. My daughter, who has autism and is Down syndrome, just connects with these puppets. So if you're doing special needs ministries or stuff like that, puppetry can definitely, like, my daughter lights up. Her for the first, like, she never responded to puppets. We had all different kinds of puppets, and we would be playing with her, and she's just like, but we got a pink flamingo from Axtell, and we weren't even buying it. We were just looking at it we went to CAX conference. We were just looking at it, and we're playing with it, and Shelly kind of liked it, and we're playing with it, and she responded and wanted to grab it. She was looking into its eyes, like she never did that before. We got that, and every Axtell puppet we've had since, we pull it out of the box, and her face lights up like it's Christmas.
And I can concur with that. We have kids with autism in our kids ministry that whenever we pull any one of our puppets out, and I would say even of our characters, when we go into character mode, whether it's a puppet or a human, those kids lock in. And I think that they're attuned to things that I think other people aren't, and it's because I think God created them to notice a very specific thing, and in fact, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Axtell himself, he told me he got started in puppetry before he even started making puppets because he noticed a difference that it made. And I could have the timeline wrong, so Steve, forgive me. But he got started because he noticed a difference it made with kids with special needs. And I think that's one of the reasons why he developed a passion for puppetry.
Yeah. And the other thing about, you had mentioned character. One of the things I love doing, obviously Chef Wee Wee has a bunch of characters around him, so we didn't develop an actual real life character. But when I got a Skunky Monkey puppet, which is right here, I developed a life character, like a real life character called Zookeeper Jebediah. And Zookeeper Jebediah has been trying to find Skunky Monkey for years now. And he's always just coming. So, we'll have kids. I'll have Skunky Monkey. By the way, that backdrop there is Skunky Monkey's, one of Skunky Monkey's backdrops. It's not the one I love the most, but we'll find something different in the future in our kids ministry. But I'll have Skunky Monkey pop up, or have Zookeeper Jebediah come out and he tell his whole backstory. He's like, I'm looking for that Skunky Monkey. I've been looking for him for 30 years, and I have no fun having him yet. And he's wearing his discombobble. He got bananas all over his shirt and everything. And he's like, I'm gonna find out about Skunky Monkey. Have you seen Skunky Monkey? And then Skunky Monkey pops up behind, and the kids are like, he's right there. And he's like, where? And he looks back, he's not there.
Which of course is, yeah, and that's
and then he runs off stage, and Skunky Monkey comes on the other side, and it's just a continual thing, and the kids just keep screaming and yelling, he's right here.
Which that's called that technique is called look, don't see, and it works 100% of the time. Last night, Mario the Maker came to our church, and he did this thing where he's pretending not to notice, something happened on stage, and I sat back with Ben. I was like, Ben, watch. And of course, all the kids like, it's such a good technique. But Frank, do me a favor, bring up Skunky Monkey real quick. And I just think this is so interesting. And again, Axtel's a genius for focusing on the eyes. But there is a difference that's made when the puppet is looking at the kids versus staring off into space. So put Skunky Monkey center frame and have him just kind of look up at an angle, just like look off camera with the monkey, like that. So just kind of stare blankly, like you're just holding him. You're not even thinking about where his head's at. Like don't move his head around, just like right there. Yeah, like you're just holding him and talking. There's something that's not connected right there, but now have him look right at the camera. Boom. Like that's the connecting point. And if you're watching this, like you felt different. There's a connection that's made when the puppets was looking right into the camera or right at the kid. It's like there is no there is no like wiggle room. As soon as like if I'm talking to you like this, but as soon as I come right here, it's like this instant like it sucks in. And I think that's why it's important to not only get puppets that have good eye line, but to make that connection. But yeah. And Frank, do all of your puppets talk?
Junior doesn't. Beast does a little bit. The chicken's going to Chef Wee Wee obviously talks. I haven't really used we have a cat puppet is kind of, actually, I like this one because based on solely the eyebrows, because you can, you can make him, he's looking straight at you, and the eyebrows.
So expressive. It's so expressive. And that, so, yeah.
None of my characters, most of my characters don't talk or minimally talk.
And it's interesting because you don't have to speak words to communicate, especially with puppets. I've got two characters, Shlami and Manny, that don't speak at all, but they say so much, and I think that's part of the kid language,
Yeah.
And Frank, I noticed that you're...
Go ahead. It's all about expression and making that puppet come to life. Once that puppet, like right now, all these puppets are just dolls right now in my bins and on my tables. But once I put them on my hand, they become who they are. They become Chef Wee Wee. They become the Beast. They become Junior. They become the cat. Some of them I don't even have. Like I don't have names for the chicken one. I don't have a name for the cat yet. I have Mr. T Wolf in the back. but I don't have names for some of these, not because of lack of creativity, but I just haven't thought of them. I want them to fit what I'm doing. I don't want them to be like, I want to come up and just like call our chicken Little or whatever because
Yeah.
it just sounds cool or whatever because that's what everybody else is doing. I really want to have a special name for them, and I want kids to connect to them. Our first Axel puppet, we actually voted on. Kids voted and turned in the name for the puppet at our church back in Southern California, and the kids had 10 names, and we put them up on the screen, and they voted for the one they thought was best. And actually, it was weird because they wanted to call him Frankie Jr. and I'm like, why? But I told the kids I would name it whatever they wanted, and so I did. But I just cut off the Frankie.
Just call it Junior. Well, Frank,
Dude.
your puppets are alive because you are alive. And you connect to your puppets, and I think that's it. It's connection. I think that's the key word, because your kids need to be connected to, obviously, our Heavenly Father, but you make the connection through character, and that's the magic sauce, is the connection. And if you're disconnected from your puppet and it's just a wedge mouth, and not that you can't use a wedge mouth, but like you're just disconnected from it, then I think you're disconnecting from your kids, and that's when kids are like, I've had kids that I pull a puppet out and it's Manny the monkey, and they're like, oh, it's another puppet. But by the time I was done performing with the puppet, they were no longer talking about the puppet. They were talking to the puppet as if it was real. And that's the magic sauce, man, is making connections.
Even the sixth graders, even the
yes,
fifth grade kids, they know it's a pup. They just connect.
It's
like, I know there's the test of like preteen ministers and everything, and I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I'm in the same space. Is like, it's not your puppet. It's not puppets. It's how you use them. And so you're going to connect different with a puppet for a sixth grader than you are for a first grader. And so it's just like curriculum, like, oh, we can't use that curriculum it's for younger kids. Oh, no, yeah, it's how you use it. It's, graphics and things like that. But the lesson, the story, I mean, like, if that was the case, then we wouldn't use the Bible, because the Bible's only for adults, It doesn't
amen
apply
to that.
kids.
Exactly.
Too small,
Well, Frank, I appreciate all of who you are. Ever since the days of you being in youth ministry, and now you've got all these crazy puppets. And when it landed on Puppet Power, Ben said, oh, we got to get Steve Axtell. And I said, that would be nice, but no, we need to get Frank. Because Frank, your heart goes into every single one of your characters. And so I appreciate you, brother. And I appreciate what you're doing with the puppets. And I look forward to making more videos with you, Chef Wee Wee, and all of your crazy guys.
And one more thing I wanted to say before about this. I'm actually, there's a puppet that I've been wanting to get for a few months now. We've been saving up to, me and my wife, we're using this summer for our VBS. The order is going to go in here soon. But that puppet, even though it's my puppet, I'm making it available to our Nut House people for their use. And I know we wanted to do everybody was doing a similar, like, Jurassic kind of theme, dinosaur theme, or whatever. Or if they decide that that's not the way they want to go, they want to do something. But my puppets, they're my puppets. But I feel like God has blessed me with them for people to use too, or for me to use in people's, in their kids, come in their kids ministry to do it, because that's why I have so many, because I don't use them all. I have a baby sitting in the bin.
What's some lasting words, bro? Give us some lasting words of wisdom in regarding use of puppets in kids ministry.
Be you. There's so many YouTubers and people and they have a lot of good information and knowledge about how to do ventriloquism and puppetry and things. But it's if you pick up a puppet and you try to be Darcy Lynn, if you pick up a puppet and try to be Mallory Lewis, if you pick up a puppet and try to be Steve Axtell, Frank Pereira, or try to act like Squirrely Joe, the kids they're gonna throw bananas at you, and not for good reasons.
That's not a good thing. No.
Sometimes I want kids to throw bananas at a Skunky Monkey though.
Yeah. Well, Frank, thank you, man. You are the best, and I will look to see you on the. You know what? There's only one last thing to. No words. This. You know what, Ben? Make it happen.
Call me the master of puppets.
Well, Frank, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so. Wow, thank you, Mary, for laughing at our seemingly technical difficulties. Brain, we need to bring back that. I just want to say thanks to Frank for all that beautiful insight, because it is about connection, absolute connection. So, I have a quick story in closing. It's pre-Christmas. My good friend and partner in kids ministry, Dale McAnulty, has always wanted this platypus puppet, and for years. And his wife called and said, "Hey, we need to make this happen. We need to get him the puppet." So we banded together, and we got him the puppet. Steve Axtell and his crew are amazing. They pulled out all the stops to get this puppet to him. We got this puppet. He opened it, and I just want to show you the video that Steve sent with this puppet.
Oh my gosh. This is amazing. Merry Christmas. You get to open your presents today, or at least this one. So, we've worked really hard on it. Would you like to see the first one? The first what? The first platypus? Yeah? I bet you would, Dale. Check this out.
I'm a platypus.
This is the very first platypus.
Yeah, the first platypus.
This guy was the one that I made the video with. I looked a lot different.
You sure did.
Yeah, but you look the same.
Yeah, a little browner.
Yeah, a little bit browner. But check this out. Mine, the original, still has no lining. It just has the stuffing here.
It's going to show no matter what.
Because I didn't have time to finish it like yours is, because I had to hurry up and make the video. And that's what we did. And that's what we did way back in 2008, basically to keep our company out of bankruptcy. So the platypus has a big story for us, and we're super excited that you have one.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Well, guess what? Right now, not only do we have my good friend Dale here, but we also have his friend, the platypus. Dale, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Good to be here.
Dale, who do you have there? Who is this guy?
Well, this is Kippy. Kind of reminds me of Skippy when I was like a little kid there.
Yeah.
So really enjoy finally getting this, and I was like excited and surprised, greatly surprised. It was a good surprise.
Why'd you name him Kippy?
Well, Skippy, I used to have like a imaginary friend when I was a kid. It was a rabbit called Skippy, but I wanted to name this, and so I just came up with the name Kippy.
Okay. And so the funny thing is, I remember when we had the Kippy had been ordered.
Yes.
And for like a month, you were saying, like, we need to we need to I need to get this platypus puppet, and I was just like, because it had been ordered for like a month because it took them a while to make it. So how long have you been wanting this puppet?
Oh, at least a year. I mean, I would I actually had a starter puppet of the platypus, and I would go like early morning, like just going early and practice the voice and technique, and now the next step is like learning how to do emotions and make the puppet more alive, come alive. That's what I'm working on right now.
Does Kippy have a voice? Do you feel like sharing that with? I know it's brand new and it's nerve-wracking. When you create a new character, it's like, I'm not ready yet, but can you share a little bit about what his voice sounds like?
Yes, I could. I kind of do a little rhyme. How much wood can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And then I trying to learn some songs, and that kind of goes along with it to help me develop the voice to its fullest extent, and just try to bring the puppet to life and perform in front of the kids. That's the next big step.
Yeah. Now, you said something earlier. You said you come in early before work and you practice.
Yes.
Before a full day of work, you come in and practice with this guy, which I think is absolute key and essential. But what made you want to do puppets?
Well, watching other people in puppeteers, professionals, and seeing the kids respond and seeing that they believe that is totally alive. And it's like, then it's just like, then you can like empathize, sympathize, and it just like brings that little joy to the kids, and seeing the little kids come up and pet a puppet, hug a puppet. I mean, that's just totally where it's at,
It's true.
Makes you feel good inside.
Awesome. Well, Dale, thank you for sharing your very special friend with us. And
right.
As always, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of exciting projects coming up, and I have no doubt that Kippy the platypus is going to be making several appearances.
Yes.
So with that, we've reached the end of our episode, which means, Ben, it's time to spin that wheel. But Ben, hey Ben.
Hi.
Hey Ben. Yeah. Entertain the masses with while I get someone. Get that wheel ready, Ben.
Wheel.
Do you have the wheel ready?
No. Give me a second.
Okay, get ready. Stand up so everyone can see.
Okay. All right, ready now. Oh my gosh.
Okay, spin that wheel! This, of course, is the thing we're talking about next Monday at 3:30, and that is going to be...
Sponge of learning.
The sponge of learning. The sponge of learning. All right. What is that? A Band-Aid back there? Here, Ben. Hug Bernie. We're going to talk about being a sponge of learning. This has been In My Head. Thank you so much for all of you guys are. We love you. We'll see you next Monday at 3:30. Thanks for being a part.